What's up? What's up? We got the Dear Creative. I think I'm on episode 11 or 12. Not keeping track. What's up? Mike Watson with Freestyle Komics, the short fuse media, super Mad Brotha, most enthusiastic man in comics. That's it. There's some other stuff I can't remember all of it now. Hey, but if you're tuning in, thanks for tuning in. This is the new live episode of Dear Creative. I was about to say Super Mad Brotha. And we're going to be talking comics for a little bit today. I'll be, if anybody's got questions, I'll be taking questions. But this show is a look at the creative life of a comic book creative. And it is me talking about what I've done to make comic books, what I'm currently doing making comic books, and trying to survive in this thing that we call a world. Giving you advice. You don't have to follow it. And hopefully you won't make the same mistakes that I've made. That's the main reason doing it, because I feel like I've traveled a long road. I normally take the long way to get to a lot of places. But here I am. So give me 1 second here as I'm trying to set up everything. What is your purpose? I just told you what my purpose was, Ren McKenzie. Ridiculous. I just need to share this on the Freestyle Komics page to try to extend my audience. But while I'm setting all this up, man, I got a lot of things going on next week. Alright? Well, this week, I'll be in Toledo for the Peep Game Comics comic book convention that they'll be doing at the Toledo Downtown Library. That is always a good time. That's going to be super, super fun. This will be my second year there. And we had a great time with Freestyle Komics there, with our books. We did a little panel. It was all good. Then after that, the good times don't stop rolling. Next week is officially Black Panther week. So Wednesday, I'll be at the Columbus Museum of Art talking to teenagers about comics and doing a drawing tutorial. This guy is going places. Beard of Plunder. Thanks, Justin. And then after that, I will be going to be speaking. What's up, Joe? Jenny? What's up, Jenny? I'll be going to go speak on a panel at the Gay Film Center about Black Panther and comic books and all that jazzy stuff, right? So that's cool. Then the next day, I will be joining Creative Control Fest, Creative Control, Black Nerd Problems, Vantage House and Productions, Vantage In-House Productions, and Freestyle Komics will all be coming together like Voltron for a Black Panther special screening. There will be a red carpet, there will be the movie premiere, and then there will be the after party. Bonkers, right? Bonkers. And I'm sure there's something going on my and on our Freestyle Komics page on Facebook. Be sure to check our events, as we have a vast majority of where we're going to be at this year already on there and posted. We have almost 22 events, like over 20 events that we will be at. So I am very much so looking forward to this year. So I guess I'm gonna get cracking, get into the subject of it before I lose too many of you guys. That was just a little update of what's going on. We're in full steam production of Freestyle Comics books. So I always like to give a little roundtable of where we're at on our comic books and how that progress is going. Not much to say. There wasn't too much follow up. Start with Heroes International. The script is already wrote. And I'm going through that, reading it, and Ethan, who is writing the story, we've talked several times this week through Facebook chat, and he just keeps plugging in these ideas, and then he gets ideas, and I get ideas, and we end up being on Facebook Messenger for like 20-30 minutes, which ends up turning into a phone call and us talking about stuff. And we are really digging. I'm really digging where he's taking the story, and I'm very excited to be able to sprinkle some salt on there in a good way. These little things, these next channels. The cool thing is, the hardest thing about working with Ethan is he has so many good ideas, right? So it's like we had determined where the book was going, and then as he was writing it, and as I gave him more information, because there's a lot of information to process, he's coming into the book on the third issue of Heroes International, and he's picking up where someone else is left off, and so it's a lot of information to get to him, and sometimes I may forget some things, and I've sent him folders and files and all that stuff, but that's a lot of information to go through while trying to keep in line. So trying to keep all that straight is hard work. So I'll remember something like, oh shoot, Ethan, did I tell you about this? And he'll be like, yeah, you did tell me about this. But like now that you bring that back up though, that gives me a wicked idea, and we examine and investigate where that goes. And Ethan's like, so I want to take it here. I'm like, that's cool. I like that, but how does that fit with the narrative of where we're wanting to take these characters? And then he'll tell me, and I'm like, all right, proceed. So there's a lot of that going on, and it's really cool. Like that creative process is really cool. We are still outlining Vigilance, which is a bit harder because we have a lot going on in Vigilance, and we have a very specific direction for all the books. But we want to make sure, we'll say that Vigilance is number 2 as far as connectivity with the Hotshot verse. So we have to really ensure her path doesn't exactly follow the Hotshot path, but they beam off of one another. They bounce off of one another. So as far as timelines, which I've been working on with Victor Dandridge, who's working on the Zero event, it's super crucial. And we're trying to develop her character. So I think it's a little bit tougher because we're working with a blank slate on where we want to take Vigilance after issue 3. Not completely blank, but if you read issue 3, 1, 2, and 3, you'll have a gist of what I'm saying without me spoiling. Because I definitely don't want to do that because that fresh new copy of Vigilance is out through Kickstarter, but goes on retail this month at the end of February to comic book shops and stuff. So it's plotting where we want to take her, and I have plenty of points of reference because I talk with Alvin a lot, and as Alvin's writing it, and so he really wants to explore, and which I'm glad, we're good for that. I'm very happy that he wants to. He really wants to explore Vigilance and like who she is besides being the superhero, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how we present her right now. That's how she's being presented. That's how she's been seen. That's how it's always been with Vigilance. She is the boss, pretty much. She's our Superman. So we're really going to start to explore these other avenues with her, and that's where it kind of becomes a creative tough cookie because it's which direction do we take her in, and what do we do? How do we explore that? But still keep people interested because our books take a while to come out. So we want to make sure the issue that happens, it's still interesting while we're trying to develop that story. So it's finding a balance of the right amount of costume and the right amount of out of costume, but keeping that intrigue there so it keeps people on the line. It's much easier to do this stuff when you have a book coming out every single month of the same title. And we're trying to get there. Well, we're not trying to. We will get there. But, finding that balance and stuff. Hotshot number 10 in full layout stage. I'm actually getting my butt kicked on that one because I'm trying to design the enemy that's in that issue. It's a few of them. And I will admit it's one of my weaker points as far as drawing. So I'm really being tough on myself and really trying to push the envelope on it. Or not really, push it, but trying to find a satisfaction between what I can live with and what I can say, oh no, we can't do that. Like I got to do better. And when you get that issue or when you see it or whatnot, you'll get what I'm saying. So that's kind of like the thing. That's where I'm at right now, trying to design the thing that will be challenging Hotshot in issue 10, but the layouts are pretty much done, and that's what we do. Thumbnails, anyway, working on thumbnails. Thumbnails are really, really cool. I never used to like doing thumbnails. My comic book teacher would tell me to do thumbnails, and I was like, man, shut up. I'm going straight to full page. And it's funny, in my olden age, I come to realize, yeah, thumbnails are extremely helpful. So I'm doing a lot of thumbnails and trying to get the pace of that story. Normally when I do my thumbnails are going to change from my thumbnails to my layouts, and then my layouts to my full size layouts, and then sometimes even to my full panel pencils. I'll get to into the second part of the show. So where were we at? Heroes, Vigilance, Hotshot, Emerald Quest. So Emerald Quest is a fickle beast right now as we're trying to figure out how we want to unleash it. Because we've done the Hotshot Kickstarter, we've done the Vigilance Kickstarter, and now we have another Kickstarter coming up, which will be towards the next month sometime, and we'll make that announcement when that happens. So it's how do we unleash it? Like I said, and I've said this before, I think like the number 3 issue is completely written. It's already gone through the edits, and the layouts for issue 3 are completely done. But we are still, I've talked about this before, there's the 6 pages that I wanted to go back and fix, so that's where we're at right now, working on those 6 pages, so we have a comic book that I can be completely satisfied with. And, I don't want to, you're not going to get, I'm not going to say that, because, anything's possible, but for the most part, as a creative, working on comics, you're never going to be 100% happy with what you do. You'll always find something that's wrong with it, but you need to get it to a point to where you can say, okay, I can live with that, and that's good. Let's move on to the next one and do better on the next one. And that book has been plagued with issues. I mean, it's been plagued with issues, and those issues are called life. And life happens fast, and things come up, and you gotta roll with it and figure out how to make it work. And that's where we've been at that. But it's moving along. So there we go. We're Heroes, Vigilance, Hotshot, Emerald Quest, Cypher. Cypher's being worked on by the interns, and we have and that's been a great process working with the interns, Mallory and Amanda, thus far. And Amanda's got some pretty tight work that she has coming up with some images that she's doing for us at FSK. I don't want to spoil any of it yet. Mallory is working on the wolf layouts. I went over the first 4 pages. We're taking our time with that one a little bit. Obviously, it's an internship. They're both in college. So we went over the first 4 pages this past week, and that was great. There was definitely some things that I saw that could be improved upon on the page, but there was a great foundation there with her, and it seemed like she was having a good time with the pages, so there was definitely a lot of things that worked, but, coming in and trying to tweak it, because the whole point is, she's in college, she wants to be a comic book artist, they both are comic book artists, wanting to make comic books, what can we do to be better? So that's kind of at the point where you have to be nitpicky a little bit. What's your purpose, Jack? I've already read that. And now, our next title, Zero Event, which is in the full-fledged writing stage now. Character design stage. Mike Lancett's doing the character design based on some descriptions and some characters that we've had done already. Updating them, making some new ones. Vic is in full-fledged writing mode on it. Cannot wait to get a hold of that. Zero Event's going to be big, and I can tell you right now, if I do believe I said it last time, but we already have our next mini-series popping out of the Zero Event. What's up, Chris? And then I got some Kickstarter rewards that I've got to now incorporate into a couple of the books, and I got to figure out how to make that work. So I've been also working on that, trying to make it cohabitate with the current storyline, or the overall storyline that we have going on. I don't want to flake and just give like a simple, easy excuse for it. I want to make it work, when we bring these characters over into the world or whatnot, which I think I already had that back door for that, if you've read issue 7. So my strength, or what I'm leaning on, is probably going off of that, and finding a way to make that work. So I've been doing that behind the scenes too. So those are the comics, and that's where we're at right now on comic work at Freestyle Komics. This week I put up a ton of events and venues that we're trying to get to as a comic book label, comic book creative, and we're gonna make it happen. We got 22 events on there. we are definitively, we've already been secured for our Black Panther stuff next week. Wizard World Cleveland. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, coming home, making comics. If you're in the Cleveland area, come see me at Wizard World Cleveland. I will be there, and I got all that new hot fire. And then our video game release party events, March 26th, at GameStop in Roseburg. So, dang. Okay, so we're doing a lot here. So, actually, let's get to the meat and potato of the show. That was our. I like to keep. No problem. I like to give a brief little, like, hey, this is where we're at on doing stuff or whatnot. As an FSK, as we progress and make things happen. So, one of the things I want to talk about is what I've been working on a book for Ethan. So it's kind of funny. He's working on a book for me, and I'm working on a book for him. I'm working on a book for Ethan called Screen Boy, and it is really cool. Now, I will be the first one to admit, I've not been the biggest fan of every comic book project that I've worked on. And per a conversation I've had with Vic, some of that comes from growth of realizing where you're at and, you know, what needs to be what needs to be done as an artist and as a creative. And which gave to a hearty discussion on Facebook this week about artists promoting the book that they work on, right? So I'm in the expectation that if I'm working on a book, I'm automatically promoting it. I think if you're working, and to me, in my head, if you're working on a book for Freestyle Komics, you should automatically promote it. Can I make you do it unless it's specifically discussed or placed into a contract? No, I can't make you do it. I can ask you to do it, which I have asked several of the creatives on FSK. But that's my personal, that's my opinion. I believe that why be on the project if you're not going to promote it? Because the thing would be to get as many people as possible to see it. Plus, that's your art. That's your work. Don't you get that out there so more people can see it, so you can get more jobs, increase your audience, increase your reach. But again, unless specifically stated in a contract or a specific conversation, I can't make you. That's just the way that I work, though. So if I'm working on a project, I automatically promote it. As I've been doing on my Instagram account, as I've been doing on my Facebook page, I've been posting up images of Screen Boy. And Screen Boy has been a creative struggle because, you know, trying to find that balance of, you know, when you're working on your own books and then, you know, giving that person as much creative time as you're doing to your own projects. You don't want to give them shortcomings. And I've known, I've been there and I've done that. And and I feel I've grown from that, especially on my recent projects with Zulu and Screen Boy here. So I did thumbnails for Ethan, showed those to him, went ahead and did the layout, showed them to him, got them approved, and then I got hit. I can't remember his name. What's up, Mike? I can't remember his name, but it's 22 panels that always work in comics. And actually, I got hip to that, and as I'm making these pages, I'm going from layout to pencil on these pages. Looking at these 22 panels, I'm like, hey, that panel could work here, and that makes that page stronger. So my process has been a little long because I've gone from my layouts, and then when I start penciling, I'm looking at my layouts like, can I do this better? Even though I've already done thumbnails, even though I've done the layouts already and they've improved, I always think that there may be a better way to tell the story. So layouts and thumbnails for me are just to get out my first idea, to get out the idea of the page. Because in my head, and this is just the way I work, I'm pretty sure nobody else works like this because it doesn't make any sense. But I know I'm going to change things on the final pencil page. I know I am. Because I've done those layouts like a week or two ago, and I read comic books, I watch movies, I watch cartoons, and that influence stays with me. So I'm always looking for a better presentation of the page. And I can't say it's the best way to work, but I think I'm getting really strong pages. And Ethan's happy with the pages, as he has said to me. And I'm really liking what I'm doing on the pages. So I'm forcing myself to put up, what's up, Archie, what's up? I'm forcing myself to put out like what I can, the strongest I can as far as storytelling. So, storytelling is what's first. Oh, hold on. Lost some light there. Storytelling is the first element of drawing a page. If you're not delivering the story, if people can't follow what's going on, then you failed on the page. It doesn't matter how technically sound the comic book page is, you failed. So I really want to make sure, especially in all of my books, that the story is being told and you can follow it. So I'm always trying to subconsciously guide your eye through my pages. And that's what I'm always trying to do. That's what I'm really trying to do on Screenboard. I'm a huge fan of Adam Kubert. I love his simple style. Because he can draw complicated stuff with a lot of detail, but then those far away landscape shots that he does, I just absolutely love them because they're super simple, but they're also like the hardest thing to draw. It's so hard to simplify your form to that gesture drawing and make it look good as a gesture drawing. And I think I've really pushed some of those elements on my Screenboard pages, which I can't wait to go back into Hotshot 10 and really develop that more, because I think I started with Hotshot 9, really crafting that and really examining it, and then whatever I learned from Hotshot number 9, I'm bringing over to Screenboard, and now I'm taking all that information and I'm going to bring it to Hotshot 10 when I jump into that. Mike, sounds like your process is very similar to mine. I'm constantly making changes from the thumbnail phase to the final finish. Yeah, I'm constantly making changes, man. And I think I get a stronger result from that. So when I show Ethan the pages, he's like, that works, that's what's up. And like, he can see it because he has access to all the thumbnails and the layout. So he sees the difference. And it works. Well, at least for me. And apparently it works for Mike Lancet too. So long and short is, have a map and don't be married to that map. Even though that map is your foundation. When you have a foundation, you can stand on that. Once you have a strong foundation, you can jump up and down, you can run, you can do laps, push-ups, you can drop the hammer down on that foundation as long as it's strong. So that's what your thumbnails and your layouts are for. They're creating your foundation for your pages. And once you do that, man, you can do whatever the heck you want, and you can play around however you want. So that's kind of what I do with those pages or whatnot. So that was one of the things I wanted to talk about today. And then and if you guys have questions, please put them in there. Let them pop up as we go. This is a weekly Facebook Live page that I do. Weekly Facebook Live event that I do. It is added to the Freestyle Komics schedule every Wednesday at 8:45. I will be doing this. Been doing it for the last... Has it been last week? No, we took some time off because I was doing like 2 Kickstarters. But that brings me up to the next thing I want to talk about. Kickstarters. Now... I'm new to it, alright? I'm not even going to try to bust a front. I'm new to the Kickstarter game. Hold on 1 second. I'm about to disappear. There we go. I need a little bit more light. I'm new to the Kickstarter game. I've luckily had Sean Mack of Short Fuse Media, our co-publishers, walk me through Kickstarter. Man, it's a lot. And I've learned something on every single Kickstarter. One of the things that I want to really push is because I talked about this with my interns is branding. Branding. When you do something, you want to make sure it is all uniform. You want to make sure that when people see it, they recognize it as yours. And I had a good conversation a while back with Terry about this, and you want your stuff to be simple enough to stand out enough so it pops. So like the banners, like when you see the banners on a Kickstarter, when you see the wallpaper that actually says this is a Kickstarter for Freestyle Komics, Short Fuse Media. When you see our awards, our rewards little banners, it's a Freestyle Komics Kickstarter. Because we use the same templates. Not only because you want the branding to be the same so it's recognizable, easy. I mean, does McDonald's really change their market? I mean, McDonald's has gone through some redesigns the past couple of years or whatnot, but as far as their marketing, their symbol, their colors, all that's the same. Like, you know, what McDonald's commercials when you see it instant. You know what the McDonald's fry wrapper looks like. You know what the bag looks like. The branding stays the same, and you want to be instantaneously recognized, especially if your Kickstarters are successful, especially if your audience is growing, if people are picking up your books and they are seeing this logo on a regular basis. If you guys are my friends on Facebook and been following the Freestyle Komics page, you know we are constantly promoting. We're constantly posting up something. We're constantly doing Facebook Live. We've got the Kickstarters going. We've got our thumb stoppers. But I want, when that stuff comes up, I want you to instantly be able to say, oh, that's a Freestyle Komics. That's an FSK moment. That's an FSK thing. We want to be recognized. Branding. So you want to super push that as much as you possibly can. But the other reason for doing that, because it saves you a lot of work. So my first Kickstarter with Hotshot one was a ton of work, right? And but then I got to the Vigilant Kickstarter. We learned a lot. We made some mistakes with it. We did a lot of good things with it. So we took that into the Vigilance Kickstarter, and all the things that we wanted to keep, we kept, and then we modified the things that we didn't want to keep. But what stayed the same is my branding. The templates I use, that cut my time down in half, because I just brought those same templates from Hotshot over to Vigilance and replaced the art, replaced the text, but the templates were all the same. And that cut my time for getting that Kickstarter down immensely. Now, I'll tell you right now, everything for the next Kickstarter that Freestyle Komics is doing, that is happening next month, it's already done. 3 days of work. Templates, using the same templates. This one took a little bit more time because there's more to it. And I can't say too much because then it'll give away what the Kickstarter actually is, and I am surprising you. But yeah, keeping those templates and the branding the same, it cut down my time immensely, and then I already know what I need, so I don't have to go to a checklist or anything like that, because I have a folder set up for each one of the Kickstarters. I have a folder set up for each element of the Kickstarter. All I do is copy that, and then I boom. All right, the next book, just drop it in there, and I'm just flowing through it. And that Kickstarter's done. That Kickstarter's sitting there. That Kickstarter's ready to go. Both of my videos for it are done, and I can't wait to show you guys videos. Oh my god, the videos look so good. Like, man. Right? So, I just can't wait to unveil it or whatnot. But it's done, and I don't have to worry about it. Now I'm jumping back into my comic work and getting that stuff back online or whatnot. So, that's all I really wanted to get into. Again, every week on Dear Creatives, we look at a different element of the comic book making process. I take questions, so if you guys have any questions, if you didn't think of anything tonight, that's fine. You can message me or comment on this, and I'll see it, and I'll add it to next week's discussion. And I'd like to thank all you guys. Doesn't look like we got anything else or anyone else asking any more questions. Did I miss anybody? Let me make sure. Because if we got questions, I will go back to it. Nope. Looks like we got everybody. Alright, so that's cool. So I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in this week to Dear Creative. Really appreciate it. And it'll be the same comic book time on the same comic book channel. 8:45 Wednesday, Dear Creative with Mike Watson of Freestyle Komics. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next week.